It's a new year. New coaches have taken over successful programs at New Orleans and Baton Rouge. Nicholls State has their title coach back for another title shot. The high schools are geared up and ready to go. So are we. Sports on the Bayou is back. Our very own Cajun Cannon Bobby Hebert, well, he's offering in-depth analysis and game strategies. Former Pro Bowler Rich Marty brings his candid talk back for another year. Mike Detillier will offer his great insight to the sports news each and every week. This year, the vivacious Debbie Cox-DeNova will have her own segment, Good Vibes. Our high school expert, Stan Gravois, will be on hand to discuss high school standings. The thumper, Harry McCullough, will focus on Nicholls State's season. The infamous Dr. Pat Hagan is back, and he'll get to ask his question each and every show. This year, our naming sponsors will be a part of the show. Rouse's Markets, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Alford & Associates, for all of your insurance needs. St. Martin & Bourke, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Some perennial corporate sponsors are also on hand. They are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute, Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality, BioPure, and BCG Services. This year, I'll assume a new role. I'll be a chief referee who will make sure that everyone gets equal time.
Yeah, right.
Now from the Eugene and Lorraine Falls studios in Houma, Louisiana, it's time for Sports on the Bayou.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Sports on the Bayou. Mike Detillier, along with the Cajun Cannon, Bobby Hebert, and he's back in the house. Rich Marty will be back with
and his hair looks blacker.
It's getting longer again. With more Sports on the Bayou.
I'm growing it
Sports
out.
on the Bayou is brought to you by Rouse's Markets, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Alford & Associates, for all of your insurance needs. And St. Martin & Bourke, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Sports on the Bayou.
I'm Chris St. Martin.
And I'm Chuck Bork.
Truth is, nobody wants to hire an attorney. If you're coming to us, it's probably one of the most difficult times in your life.
But it's also true that if you've been injured, you need someone to explain your rights.
Since 1967, St. Martin and Bourke has been helping the people of South Louisiana understand their rights. If you've been injured and want to know more about your rights, call us for a free consultation today.
Selecting an insurance provider for your business is a big decision.
With over 26 years of experience, our Alford team is your solution for quality and proven coverage.
The customer service you remember from years ago is what we pride our team on.
We know how important your company is to the community.
From small businesses to large businesses, Alford & Associates can manage your insurance. It's our job.
Alford & Associates, benefiting your employees and protecting your business.
Sports on the Bayou's corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute, Barker Honda, BioPure, along with BCG Services. Now, back to Sports on the Bayou.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Guys, the Saints came up with a W, needed one, 39-32 over Seattle. It's not a lot of games that you see that you lose the giveaway takeaway ratio by 1, and you give up 6 plays of 30 yards or more, and you still win. That to
well, that's
me,
luck.
Because if you continue this, you might win one, but you're gonna lose one, win one, lose one.
No,
you're
you're
gonna
going to be a 500 team. No, I don't know. Listen, I'm not even picking the Saints. Usually I'm always a homer. I'd be surprised
I ain't picking them this
if
week
they beat
either.
the Bengals because Lattimore. Look all the receivers. They might have the best trio of receivers, and who's going to cover who, and then look at the injuries we have at receiver. No, but it might be an upset. All I know is the Saints need to introduce the Bengals defense. Don't introduce Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, right? The dome might go crazy. You might think, this is Saints home game? Because you have a lot of LSU fans that like the Saints, but they love Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. So introduce the Bengals defense. Hopefully the Saints PR, they have enough common sense. I already told them that. Hopefully they do that.
You know, the Bengals are in a desperate position, too.
Yeah,
So
that's the other part.
That's the problem.
I wish the Bengals would have beat the Ravens and they wouldn't be as desperate, but now they're really desperate since they lost that game.
Look at the Seattle game, though. I mean, look at statistically, we totally dominated the game across the board and only win by 7 points because of what you just referred to, long plays and the turnovers.
And I'm looking in the audience to see Coach Schwab. I mean, you know, a great player, great coach. Wouldn't he love a guy like Taysom Hill? What? Coach Schwab knows who Jim Thorpe is. You know, people who know Jim Thorpe, like jack of all trades, Swiss Army knife. I don't know. Taysom Hill, he should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I don't know. Just start a new category, utility player. Because they don't have those guys. You know, why don't other teams get a guy like Taysom Hill? You know why? Because they don't have him.
That size?
They don't have him. He can run around you. He can run over you. He can tackle. He can block punch. Or he can even throw a pass now and then.
You know what?
People say, why don't he play quarterback all the time? He does not throw well enough. You don't want him throwing 25, 30 times. But the way they're running, they finally threw a pass. Troutman's wide open. Touchdown.
But guess what? Here's the biggest thing. They've opened up his ability to do anything now. The defense has got to look at him and say he could run it, he could pass it, he could hand it off, he could do anything, which they've kind of set up because he was running it most of the time prior to that.
Well, and the thing is, when you look at Taysom Hill, talk about a good guy.
Yeah.
He's almost too good to be true. Listen, I even jokingly said this.
He does snore at night.
He would be a guy that if your daughter came home with Taysom Hill, you think you hit the lottery. This guy's so good, you might even try and be a Mormon. I mean, he is that good.
He's a conversion guy, right?
No, he is unbelievable.
He's on the fringe.
He's almost
on the cusp.
Too good to be true.
We're going to go to the highlights of the Saints' victory over Seattle. Right off the bat, there, what Bob talked about, 8-yard run, Taysom Hill for the score.
Look at the power when he runs the ball.
Then, I don't know what Dixon was thinking here.
Did they have a fake punt on and all, and then the Saints stuffed it out?
I think he made that choice himself.
Well, he might get cut when you make that.
But Granderson sniffed that out, and then again, Taysom Hill for the score.
Get in the corner, you can see the speed on a long run or a short run.
Then here we go, the onslaught starts. And look at this pass. Geno Smith, the title Lockett. Can you throw it better than that?
No, whether they had Russell Wilson, any quarterback, Geno Smith made some throws in this game.
Then Andy Dalton to Chris Olave. This was ruled incomplete, but then they challenged it, and it's a touchdown. Then Alvin Kamara, finally, they throw it to him as a receiver, and he shows the big play ability.
Because that's Andy Dalton, that quarterback, knowing how to utilize the running back. You look at Kamara and Hill, they're responsible for 397 total yards.
This is the touchdown play. Man, everybody thought he was running it. He throws it to the tight end.
What, a tight end got a touchdown? Come on.
Then again, everybody's crowded up on the line of scrimmage. Taysom Hill takes off, but he sort of feels that guy closing in on him. 60-yard touchdown.
Taysom's a 4.5, isn't he? And that guy chased him down 12, 15 yards.
Then Geno Smith, finally they got some pressure on him.
I don't know, you're spinning and trying to tackle the quarterback, they might call a penalty.
You got to be careful
that's
because
a bunch of BS.
Man, has that
the
gone really over the edge as far as protecting quarterbacks? I was doing a national show this morning, and my thing with Taysom Hill is we always have comps on players. He reminds me of somebody else. My thing is, just think about it. Does he remind you of anybody else modern era?
Hell no.
No one.
No, they ain't nobody like Taysom Hill.
Nobody like Taysom Hill.
They ain't no power and the speed. And listen, they could put it in the box. It could be like a defensive player in the box and make tackles. I mean, he does it.
You did say modern era, and there isn't anybody. And then, give credit to Sean Payton, who recognized that. We didn't think he get cut from wherever he was, Dallas.
He was in Green Bay.
He was in Green Bay, and we stole him.
They didn't know what to do with him.
And then, you know how Sean goes on national shows, and because him and Mickey, because Mickey probably said, because, the one thing you never heard of Taysom Hill at BYU, you know why? He's so aggressive, he got hurt.
Every year.
He got hurt every year, and then at the beginning of the Saints' career, he didn't get hurt, then he got hurt as of late. Because he only knows one way to play. It's 100%. Taysom Hill ain't hook sliding. He ain't doing none of that. No, he's going to bring the business to you. So all of a sudden, Sean goes to the national show. I think it was Colin Cowherd.
Yeah, with Colin.
And then he says, and he was joking with Mickey Loomis. He goes, because Mickey's probably saying, Sean, I can't believe it, the number of snaps he plays. We paying that guy like $11 million. Sean says, well, I'll take him off your hands wherever I end up.
Yeah, right.
So if you have a problem with Taysom, I just send him my way. I know how to use him.
But they finally got Taysom and Alvin Kamara much more involved in the offense, not just as a runner, but Kamara as a receiver.
Yeah,
I thought that was a big part of that.
I was just going to say that's exactly right.
Well,
it was a Taysom Hill show, but Kamara made it. He touches the ball, 6 catches, almost 100 yards.
But you look at all-purpose
almost
yards.
over 100 yards.
All-purpose yards they had.
Gotta have him.
Right at 400. That's
phenomenal in today's
two guys.
Now, I think Pete Carmichael realized this, that Alvin Kamara is going to be at the fireplace when he's old, and the grandkids are going to be around him. He's going to say, "Let me tell you what I did against the Seattle Seahawks." That's one team he has dominated. Do you know, if you look at the 2 previous games, he's averaged 170 total yards from scrimmage. Last season, he had 179. This year, 194. So he played 3 games against Seattle, and Pete Carroll, they still can't stop him.
We'll be back with more Sports on the Bayou.
Coming up, Sports on the Bayou will go in the audience and introduce the naming sponsors and the guests that have come for this week's show. It's all right after the break.
I'm Chris St. Martin. Many of us know what it means to have roots here on the Bayou. I'm no different. My family has been here for generations. Likewise, the firm of St. Martin and Bourke has been helping the injured in this region for almost 50 years. We're honored to serve the people of South Louisiana and the Bayou region. Remember, if you've been hurt in an accident and you want to know your rights, call St. Martin and Bourke today to schedule your free consultation.
Here at Rouse's, we have our own brands of products, which you'll find down every aisle of our stores. These are the best quality at the best price. They compare to the national brands we sell, but at a lower cost. Most are made right here, but we travel the world too. And we personally taste test and guarantee every item. So if our name's on the label, you can trust it's good. Rouse's brand, best quality at the best price.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by St. Martin and Bourke Attorneys at Law. Know your rights. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And by Rouse's Markets, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Now, back to Sports on the Bayou.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Martin, I'll throw it to you.
All right, let's give it up for our naming sponsors and look at the people in this place today. We got some big names.
Well, the Saints won, Martin. Yeah, who that?
Yeah. Well, the LSU segment is next. I hate to be a downer here.
Everyone can take a break.
All right, Hunter, let's get him going. Hunter, stand up on the chair a little bit. Come on. Alford and Associates, one of our naming sponsors. Y'all give him a big round of applause.
All right. He looks like a Bayou version.
All right, hey,
of
wait. Stay up there, Hunter. Just a little clap. Get a little clap going for him. All right, here we go. We're going to move along over here. We have St. Martin and Bourke. Chuck Bourke in the house. And he's got Mr. Jerry and Mr. Mike with him. And look, the Gregory's are here. Chuck, thank you once again. We appreciate it. Look at the Rouse's table. If y'all want to speed right now, do it now because a lot of the state police are in the house today, all right? Thank y'all for coming. We appreciate it. All right, we got our talent table. Harry's always playing like he's working. When he does this, Harry, wave to the crowd. Debbie, wave. Go ahead and wave. All right, let's come over here.
Come on, we can't peter out. We got to keep going.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going. All right, we're going to come back, but we have in the house South Louisiana Bank. Y'all give it up for them. Terrebonne General Health System's always doing a great job. Lester brought half of the Nichols coaching staff and the mayor. Well, look at Ricky Broussard. Don's in the house. Don Rodriguez in the house.
I think Lester showed up because Nichols won.
Yeah.
So if he shows up all the time,
Harvey
he won't be
Sharp's
showing
got
up
his
much.
crew. Harvey's in the house with his gang. Harvey, thank y'all for coming. Look over here. Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government. Parish president's in the house. We'll be talking to him shortly.
Gordy Dove.
Gordy.
Look at the GIS table. O'Neill and the legend Don Schwab are here today. Speaking of legends, Harry's going to be talking to Coach Albert. He's with the legends. Hunter, you are doing great. This is your full-time job now. Terrebonne Parish School System is in the house. Becky broke out the checkbook here, so we'll be checking that out. And we have Tina and CIS. Thank y'all for coming. Appreciate it. My aunt is representing the family suite today. There's Aunt Miriam. Wave, Aunt Miriam. There's
Come on,
Francis
Rich,
and Donna, my cousins.
Come on, Rich,
we
you
got
can't
the
quit. It's
Calhouns and the Roby shows in there. So let me see how much time I got left. Thank y'all for coming. I'm glad you don't look like Weekend at Bernie's this week. You pepped up a little bit. All right. Now we can stop clapping.
Oh.
Because we got the parish president in the house. Gordy, can I get you to stand up? Now look, we all know about Hurricane Ian. But Terrebonne Parish would have looked like Hurricane Ian if we did not have levee systems in this parish. So can we have a big round of applause for the parish president of Terrebonne Parish? Unbelievable. And for Tony Alford, who heads up Alford and Associates. He's the president of that board. Let's give kudos where they belong. Great job.
Thank you, Martin.
What would Terrebonne Parish have looked like without levees?
It would look bad, Martin. We'd have had water all the way back to Homer. Levees held up, and my shout out to naturally Tony Alford, the levee board, Reggie Dupre, and the numerous engineers that designed and built the system, and the people of Terrebonne Parish who tax themselves 3/4 cents to pay for it. So hand of applause for the people of Terrebonne Parish.
And I want to give
paid for their own system.
And I want to give credit. We have former parish president right here. Y'all give a big round of applause to Don Schwab.
All right, Don.
All right, I got 48 seconds, but once again, I mean, it's incredible what the levees have done, but in Florida, they did not have that levee system. Look what happened.
And Martin,
those were sister storms, too.
And we fortunate Terrebonne, Lafourche working together as a team because we can get it from either way. I live in Lafourche, so we could get it from the west, and they could get it from the east. But I think the cooperation with the parish presidents have been great.
Y'all had 16 feet of water knocking on the doorstep in Lafourche for Hurricane Ida. It was right at the top of the levee system. So what does that mean? We got to build it 4 feet higher from there.
Hey, I can tell you, old school in the early 70s, we got to give more credit to Dick Guidry. You might know Dick Guidry and Wendell Curall. Wendell Curall's younger brother helped us win the state championship.
You got me a penalty, Bobby.
The winning kick. Good.
And it just got over.
You got me a penalty. We'll be right back.
I love the Curall.
Coming up on Sports on the Bayou, we'll talk LSU football. We'll break down the highlights and analysis of this week's game and the upcoming game. You won't want to miss it. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Sports on the Bayou.
Here at Rouse's, we have our own brands of products, which you'll find down every aisle of our stores. These are the best quality at the best price. They compare to the national brands we sell, but at a lower cost. Most are made right here, but we travel the world too. And we personally taste test and guarantee every item. So if our name's on the label, you can trust it's good. Rouse's brand, best quality at the best price.
Selecting an insurance provider for your business is a big decision.
With over 26 years of experience, our Alford team is your solution for quality and proven coverage.
The customer service you remember from years ago is what we pride our team on.
We know how important your company is to the community.
From small businesses to large businesses, Alford & Associates can manage your insurance. It's our job.
Alford & Associates, benefiting your employees and protecting your business.
At Barker Honda, we have the aggressive all-new Honda Ridgeline. Ridgeline has class-leading cab space, easy folding seats for storage, standard all-wheel drive, versatile tailgate, automatic in-bed lighting, plywood lies flat in the truck bed, large rear storage for work, ice chest with drain, or whatever. And remember, it's better at Barker.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. Rouse's Markets, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. And St. Martin and Bourke Attorneys at Law. Know your rights. Now, back to more Sports on the Bayou.
Back here on Sports on the Bayou, guys. Man, LSU took a thumping. I think we all thought Tennessee was the better team. They would win. Certainly the better quarterback in Hendon Hooker. but we never thought it'd be a beatdown like this.
Well, the problem is you got to get off to a fast start. I'm like, okay, fumble the kickoff. Oh, what? You cannot do that against a quality opponent. And a lot like the Saints, you got to get off to a fast start and set the tone. You look at LSU now, in 4 games against Power 5 competition, in the first quarters, Florida State, Mississippi State, Auburn, and Tennessee, they've been outscored 26-3. So then you're always playing catch-up. You cannot have that. The only point they scored was against Florida State. So that's what you have to look at. Get off the fast start against Florida. I mean, to me, it's like the Florida of old. Mike, they could beat Florida. Because I think like a team like Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is a different story.
But like Florida, now I say they
depends on how Richardson plays. He's not going to play like Hooker.
Well, right? No, Mike. He could be if you.
He
stop
could be
him
really good or really bad.
Yeah, and if you force him to pass, he's not accurate enough. Now he can make plays with his feet, but that's what is going to be key. Now I don't know about LSU throwing the ball, and the forward pass and.
They keep saying we're going to get the receivers involved. Okay, early on, Booty has a pass right in his hands. He drops it. Jeray Jenkins right down the middle. He's wide open. He drops it.
I think it's deeper than what I think. I look at special teams. Obviously, it's sensitive.
And it's not good.
It's not good, and that's an attitude thing. Special teams it's all about attitude, and I think that's almost a microcosm of where that whole team might be. They're just not all plugged in at Kelly yet, and they're not playing.
I agree.
But from a local perspective, you know what this game's gonna be about? Because a lot of LSU fans who pay the big bucks. Do we want Billy Napier or do we want Coach Kelly? I'm telling you, should LSU have hired Kelly or Billy Napier? You watch the influence on this one game, like the pulse of everyone. So you let Coach Kelly win on the road in Florida, then you say, okay, but you let Billy Napier come out on top. Well, he's right there, Louisiana Lafayette. Why don't we bring him to Baton Rouge? So it's almost like the Kelly-Napier Bowl. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Kelly will give up his $100 million to let Napier come in, don't you?
No, he ain't giving up that money. No, he ain't.
No, you asked the wrong guy that question.
No, I know.
We'll go to the highlights of LSU, Tennessee. And early on, again, 1-yard run, Jabari Small in for Tennessee in the onslaught.
Special teams.
The onslaught was on
horrible.
at this point. And then the run back, again.
The special teams have been lousy
it's an attitude.
Have been bad.
They don't want to be out
plain bad. And they kicked the field goal. Chase McGrath gets it in for the score. So now it's 10-0. Jaden Daniels out in the flat, hits Josh Williams, gets a first down with it. But, man, again, it's hit and miss. McGrath again with a field goal, make it 13-0. But
see, we came back against Auburn and Mississippi State, but it's going to catch up when you down 13, 17.
And this is one of the few big plays, and they hit Malik Neighbors. But look at this throw. From Hendon Hooker, bang.
Perfect.
Can you make a better throw than that? I mean, that's right on the dime. And then Jaden Daniels over the middle gets a completion. But, man, okay, you down 20-0. You make a play, but you can't come up with the football, and Tennessee comes up with it. Almost like you were asleep most of the game. Jaden Daniels trying to make a play here downfield, running with the football. That he can do very well. They get in for a score. But, man, at this point,
20-7, you're still in the game.
You're in the game, but really were you in the game at that point?
Well, yeah, Mike, all of a sudden, look, if you could make it 20-10.
You didn't do nothing
we didn't
with
make
that.
it a fourth down. Yeah.
Fourth down. 2 fourth-down conversions you didn't get. Then McGrath. LSU's defense held them a little while.
Instead of 2014, then they score.
Then easy throw here. Hooker for the score. And at this point, you knew it was all over with. Then again, Hooker again.
Wide open.
Finding the open guys. Guys, did you see him throw a bad pass in that game?
No. He was, Mike, that's why he's all of a sudden in the Heisman conversation because of the game he had.
37-7, and Daniels looking around. And then finally, Booty makes a play for a touchdown. But, man, they've just not been able to connect Daniels and Booty together. And, again, the onslaught was on. And this is sort of garbage sort of time where they just kind of throwing it up, getting some yards. But
well, you look at that. That was the first interception that Jaden Daniels. He had threw 45 passes Saturday, a streak of 175 consecutive passes without an interception until that happened in the end zone. To compare, like 175 throws till he finally threw a pick, like Joe Burrow. had 187 consecutive throws before he threw an interception attempts. That was in 2019. So when you look at it, Jaden Daniels at times, I think he needs to take more chances with the playmakers and trust the one-on-one pass catch option. But then you damned if you do, damned if you don't. So what if he takes more chances and he's throwing picks? Then the Coach Kelly's on him like, come on, you got to protect the football. Then if you don't take chances, oh, well, I want you to take more chances. No, the bottom line is you want to take a chance and it works.
It's like Harbaugh, right?
Yeah.
It's like Harbaugh trying to make the decision. He can't win no matter what.
What
Can't make decisions.
But I thought the big part here, Tennessee had been gashed in the running game. LSU couldn't do squat. They could not run the football. Jaden Daniels made a few plays with his legs, but LSU's running game, non-existent.
Well, the offensive line, I mean, who's playing? I mean, who's hurt, not hurt? Look what happened on Friday.
Will Campbell didn't play.
Will Campbell, I don't know. They got to take him to the hospital. He's dehydrated? Come on now. I'm glad it's nothing more serious. Come on, you got to hydrate yourself. Just give him a case of Gatorade in his dorm room or wherever he's living. You can't be dehydrated on Friday for the game Saturday.
Yeah, he's not a 140-pound guy either. Right. You're talking about he's a 300-14-pound man.
He drinks like a cow.
I mean, I don't know. The offensive line
is El Succo.
Yeah, there's no continuity there, and when that happens, you're not really going to win anything.
So we'll see against Florida, and those two teams, they don't just dislike one another, they hate one another.
Coming up, Debbie Cox DeNova will have her Good Vibes segment. Stick around. You may learn something.
Here at Rouse's, we have our own brands of products which you'll find down every aisle of our stores. These are the best quality at the best price. They compare to the national brands we sell, but at a lower cost. Most are made right here, but we travel the world too. And we personally taste test and guarantee every item. So if our name's on the label, you can trust it's good. Rouse's brand, best quality at the best price.
Here in South Louisiana, we know how important it is to protect our families.
When one of our neighbors is injured because of someone else's neglect, our team is compelled to use our experience, skills, and knowledge to seek justice and hold wrongdoers accountable. If you've been injured and want to know your rights, call St. Martin and Bourke today.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Rouse's Markets, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And St. Martin and Bourke attorneys at law. Know your rights. Now, back with more Sports on the Bayou.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou, our Good Vibes segment. Debbie, I'll throw it to you.
Awesome. We are talking about big egos in high-performance sports, and this is actually inspired by a conversation that Bobby Martin and I had last week about egos. So for anyone at home who's having trouble, maybe part of your personality is being shy, being a little bit shy, but you have to go out on the field and you actually have to perform in a big way. If you're interested in learning how to use your ego to high effect, pick up the book, The Alter Ego Effect by Todd Herman. And this is the power of secret identities to transform your life. So in his work, Todd Herman says that he works with a lot of high performance sports players who actually tap into a secret identity, an alter ego, in order to perform in a different way on the field. Now we have a lot of examples of people who have substantial egos who have made it to the top of their sports. Michael Jordan, we have Muhammad Ali, we have Kobe Bryant, who said that he clicked into the Black Mamba, right? We have Bo Jackson, who when he met Todd Herman said that Bo Jackson has never played a down of football in his entire life. He actually tapped into an alter ego that was Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, cold, methodical, unrelenting. And then of course the most famous one in the NFL is Brian Dawkins, who was Weapon X or the Wolverine. So my question here is, do you believe that having a big ego is necessary to reach the pinnacle in any field of play? And knowing that humility is important as well for team playing, for coachability, for learning from your mistakes. Where's the line? How do you keep the ego in check? I'd like to start with you, Mike, because we cut you off last week. Let's go.
No, I'll throw this one to Rich. Rich, okay. You answer it.
I do. Well, now I know I missed my calling. I could have been a great wide receiver and all-pro, but I didn't find my alter ego. So I was just a humble guy back then.
Nothing to do with talent.
Look, I look at Deion Sanders. I never liked his attitude. But that son of a gun, you got to have an ego, and there's a fine line between ego and confidence, right? And then the other side of that, you got to have the support. You got to do it. Yeah. You got to have the goods. And he's got the goods, had the goods. Every time he said he was going to do something, he did it and then some. So you really have to have that combination. I think ego gets...
And he still does today as a coach.
And he still does. So it's an attitude thing. Mm-hmm. You have to have an ego. Everybody has an ego, no matter what level it is. So you just have to be able to manage it. But if you can perform behind it and you put the stats up and you do what you say you're going to do, that's not ego, baby. That's confidence, and that's where you got to be if you want to be great.
Well, the thing is that prime, I'm one of the few people in the world that could say in an NFL game, that threw Deion Sanders an interception and a touchdown pass. Now think about that.
You helped his ego.
When I threw him an interception when I was with the Saints, and when I was with the Falcons, I threw him a touchdown pass against the Cowgirls when they were blitzing. So I'm just telling you, so Deion was so talented. I've never seen an individual. Yeah. He played in a Major League playoff game with the Braves and scored and was outstanding. And all of a sudden he got in a helicopter. They brought him to the Georgia Dome. He didn't even have his equipment. They practiced one down. And we just fit him with equipment, and he checked Henry Ellett to have one catch, 14 yards, in like a primetime game, and didn't even practice football. And ain't too many cats can do that. So when you have an ego, listen, you can have an ego, but if you're garbage, you're garbage.
Right.
I mean, if you're a stud and you can walk the talk, then the players respect you. But if you have a strong ego and you can't back it up, everybody just looks at you. He don't know what So you got to be able to back it up.
Okay, but you said last week or the week before that you think a lot of quarterbacks are narcissists.
Oh, they have to be.
Do you think they have to? So they do have to be, in your opinion.
Well, you got to call the play in the huddle and lead all these men. You have to be a narcissist. You can't be like an introvert. Now, if you play golf or tennis and you're a stud, yeah, you can be an introvert. But when you're playing a team sport and you're the leader, you're the quarterback, you have to be an extrovert. You have to just say, no, this is the way it is, whether you like it or not. Then you have to have, it's kind of like the mafia. I guess you're kind of in charge, and you got your strong man like Ricky Jackson on the side of you. So when you tell the players, this is the way it is, this is the way we have to get it done, and then you got the stronghold guys on the team that have your back, and they'll support you. So then your message will come across. But it's all about winning. If you don't win, then nobody listens.
My dad always said, it ain't bragging if you can do it. Mm-hmm. And if you can do it, it ain't bragging. So that ego is there for everyone, but some people there's a lot more than others.
You don't have to have a huge ego like Barry Sanders.
Coming up, Harry McCullough with a live studio guest as Sports on the Bayou continues.
Selecting an insurance provider for your business is a big decision.
With over 26 years of experience, our Alford team is your solution for quality and proven coverage.
The customer service you remember from years ago is what we pride our team on.
We know how important your company is to the community.
From small businesses to large businesses, Alford & Associates can manage your insurance. It's our job.
Alford & Associates, benefiting your employees and protecting your business.
Cardiovascular Institute of the South's Ambulatory Surgery Center offers patients advanced and innovative outpatient procedures using the latest technology and treatment options. The first of its kind in the region, this center provides our patients and their families with high-quality care in a convenient, comfortable, and safe environment at a lower cost. Trust your care to the cardiovascular care team you know and love at CIS. Learn more at cardio.com.
Here at South Louisiana Bank, we support our neighbors, the organizers, the helpers, the leaders, the dreamers. We support those that move our community forward. Louisiana has grown from the dedication, commitment, and loyalty of the people who call this beautiful place home. We are proud to offer our services to the communities in South Louisiana. South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by St. Martin and Bourke Attorneys at Law. Know your rights. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And by Rouse's Markets, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Now, back to Sports on the Bayou.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. H, I'll throw it to you, brother.
Yeah, thank you. I got a legend that's joining us today. Coach Gerald Albert is our guest today. And the pop gun goes way back to, to his days at Nicholls State. Coach, first of all, how'd you end up at Nicholls State as a basketball player?
Well, I went to Thibodeau High, and they didn't have a basketball team at Nicholls at the time. But when I graduated from Thibodeau High, they decided to start a basketball team.
Well, they said, we got a player, we'll start a team.
But I went to Nicholls for 4 years, and I was the first 4-year letterman at Nicholls State University.
No kidding.
Yes.
No kidding. Yeah, no, that's awesome. And we always, I mean, I used to watch you, then you come to Vanderbilt, and we used to watch, you were still a better shot than all of us, even as a coach. How'd you get into coaching? Just that's what you wanted to do?
Well, that's what I wanted to do, yes. I went to elementary school. Don and Don Schwab was at the same school I was, and they had a guy there by the name of Coach Wallace Dupre. And he started a little basketball team. He was very dedicated. He would pick us up, bring us home after practice, and we all lived in a country area. And he would drive his car and pick us up and bring us to the games. So I just admired him.
Yeah.
And he inspired me to become a coach.
So you had a top, you had a top 24 team at Vanderbilt, and then went into, have a great career as a basketball coach, then get into athletic director. And I want to talk to you about Title IX, because now it's 50 years since Title IX. Not that started things, but you go into women's athletics and probably won close to 1,000 games, as Martin was talking. lots of state championships, Hall of Fames, that kind of stuff. What about women's athletics from when you started coaching women's athletics to what we see nowadays?
Well, I mean, it's so much more developed than what it was at that time. We're at Vanderbilt. We had a girls program. It was not a big, well-developed girls program, but we had a brother coaching girls volleyball. Girls softball, and he was transferred. So I was the athletic director, so I had to decide. Either we didn't have anybody that wanted to coach it. Either I would have to coach it, or we were going to drop it. And I think that was one of the best decisions I ever made, to go ahead and decide to coach
The state championships are amazing. While you were there and since you've been there, in all sports, it's been a great transformation. I go back to watching. I was a sportscaster. I'd go try and do a UL Lafayette basketball game. It would take the whole half to get 2 buckets so I can show highlights. Yes. And now girls are dribbling between the legs, dunking, and they've really come a long way as far as athletics, because they got a chance with Title IX.
Yes.
And it was the first time Martin actually got his station. That was like his first television games.
Yes, he was.
Was those games and the state championship games, and you won, I think, 112 in a row.
Yes, we did.
So that's a record still holds to today. So, so what you doing now, Coach?
Well, I'm retired, and we have a little 18-year-old girl that lives with us, and we involved in a lot of her activities. And I still follow high school athletics, and very much. I try to see as many games as I can.
Yeah, well, look, you made a difference in a lot of people's lives. And I guess as teachers, when you look back in your career, you go, man, I touched a lot of lives.
Yes. And one thing I'm very proud of, when I went into the public school system, a lot of people says, well, coaches just coach, that's all they do. But I really put a lot of time in my teaching, and I think it was around 1986 they selected me as the outstanding teacher in Terrebonne Parish, and I'm very, very proud of that.
Absolutely, we are too. Well, thanks for all your career, and we appreciate you having on today.
Appreciate it.
All right, Coach. We'll be right back with more Sports on the Bayou after this.
Coming up, Dr. Pat gets to ask his question of the week, as Sports on the Bayou is right around the corner.
I'm Chris St. Martin.
And I'm Chuck Bork.
Truth is, nobody wants to hire an attorney. If you're coming to us, it's probably one of the most difficult times in your life.
But it's also true that if you've been injured, you need someone to explain your rights.
Since 1967, St. Martin and Bork has been helping the people of South Louisiana understand their rights. If you've been injured and want to know more about your rights, call us for a free consultation today.
If you are suffering from chronic cough,
bronchitis, reactive airway, or persistent asthma that's difficult to control, or diagnosed with COPD, please listen carefully. You may be suffering from allergy sinus bronchial asthma syndrome. For as we now know that undetected or uncontrolled infection in the upper airway can affect the lower respiratory tract. If this is happening to you, please call us for an evaluation.
Sports on the Bayou's corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute, Barker Honda, BioPure along with BCG Services. Now, back to Sports on the Bayou.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Doc, I'm going to throw it to you, brother.
Way to go,
Why you asking all the questions?
Why you asking all the questions? Making statements.
All right, Doc, it's yours.
back.
It's yours.
Well, I have a question in a moment, but I tell you, something new in Thibodeau. E.D. White has discovered the forward pass. They really have. They've developed their team, and their offense is rounded out, and they're not just going to be a 3 yards and cloud of dust. They're
That
hanging.
LaFont guy can catch the football pretty good, can he?
So when you say develop the forward pass, they will throw 10 passes?
Their passing game, 10 or 15 passes
that's
at E.D.
enough.
White.
Yeah.
They think the Pirate came to town and he instituted the Mississippi State air raid offense. But they got some kids, their offense, they got the quarterback Sternfels, Jeffrey Diedrich, and the line is back. They got a Worthington kid that runs. But they got some kids from the Central Lafourche area.
Yep.
Brett Dewey's grandson is a wing back.
Yep.
They got a LaFont, and they got a Hillman, from the Central Lafourche area.
Oh, like Mike Hillman and all those things?
He plays a lot like Jack Besh. He's a mismatch. So
Yeah.
I think E.D. White's offense is coming up a lot stronger this year than last year. Well, hopefully they can be one of the teams that represents well. As far as LSU, 4 or 5 weeks in a row, we saw some significant improvement. But boy, that was tough to watch last week with special teams letting them down and putting them in the hole, 10 points. They started 2 out of their first 3 drives on the 25-yard line at LSU. Bobby and Rich, are there just some games when things just go so bad at the beginning, it's just hard to recover? And then how do you come back to practice this week?
Well, the thing is, you can recover if you play in like Auburn, but not Tennessee. Look where Tennessee is ranked. They can't not afford to have that kind of game against Ole Miss or Alabama. I mean, everybody would be leaving at halftime going tailgate or whatever.
Yeah.
They're not that good.
It does matter your opponent. You get off the slow start. Look against Mississippi State. Look at Auburn, 17-13. But Tennessee, you can't dig your hole like that. Tennessee is too good. And what's the
big difference at quarterback?
If you took Hooker and put him on LSU's team,
it'd be a different story.
Yeah.
Different story.
Well, and Coach Heupel, I think he has talked with Mike about this. What's been the difference, how Tennessee has turned things around so quickly?
One guy.
He said it's been the quarterback.
1 year.
And Hooker's been the difference.
When O had Burrow,
difference,
and they went 10-3, no one would have seen that second year. You get Joe Brady, and it's like, this guy's going to be quarterback in Cincinnati to the Super Bowl a couple years
And
later.
here's the crazy thing, Doc. When they signed Hooker away from Virginia Tech, he wasn't the guy. It was a guy by the name of Joe Milton. He grew up in Pahokee, Florida, the same spot Ricky Jackson grew up in, and he signed with Michigan. He decides to transfer to Tennessee. He beats out Hooker in the fall drills. He starts the first 3 games, whiff. All of a sudden, hey, we got to pull him. Hooker comes in, changed the world for Tennessee. And so Heupel was, even I didn't know how good Hendon was, because we picked Milton. He was going to be the guy. And look what it's done for the trajectory of our team.
Okay, then for LSU, do you think there's any hope for Nussmeier leading the team in the future, or Walker Howard?
Walker Howard.
He's really that good.
I think he's that good.
The Nussmeier, he's going to transfer.
You
the whole transfer portal.
Ricky Collins from Woodlawn, I saw him.
You have these young players that get in adversity. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
The coach doesn't like me. He's too mean to me. Or what? So I'm going to go somewhere else. I mean, not everybody can play. Everybody thinks they're stutter. If they don't play, they want to leave. So I would think, like, right now, Nussmeier, now I'm not saying that's etched in stone, but I would tend to lean more towards Walker Howard in the future.
I think Walker's the guy. And he thinks he's the guy, too, which I like. Athletic arrogance. There's nothing wrong with that, and I think he can prove it. But again, he's a true freshman, 18 years old. Do you want to put him out there on the
I know
field now?
Jamie Howard felt like he was rushed out a little early in his career and didn't want that to happen to Walker
But
also.
look who was quarterback in LSU, Brad Johnson's son, Matt.
Yeah.
Max.
I mean, what? The Max, and then all of a sudden he gets hurt, A&M. He's not the guy no more. No,
TJ Finley, look what happened to him.
Yeah, look, he goes to Auburn and all that. You're the guy, you get hurt, you're not the guy.
That's all the attitude. That goes
you're
back.
gonna see more of that.
That goes back to the individual attitude. The real great players will overcome those adversities.
stick it out.
And they'll
Yeah.
stick it out, and they'll
We'll
rise
be back
above
with
it.
more Sports on the
You don't
Bayou.
get that from every.
And right after the break, Stan Gravois takes a look at key high school football games on Sports on the Bayou.
Here at Rouse's, we have our own brands of products which you'll find down every aisle of our stores. These are the best quality at the best price. They compare to the national brands we sell, but at a lower cost. Most are made right here, but we travel the world too. And we personally taste test and guarantee every item. So if our name's on the label, you can trust it's good. Rouse's brand, best quality at the best price.
Whether it's your home or your business, Bayou Pure specializes in disinfection application, along with water, fire, mold damage cleanup. Call Bayou Pure today to get your free consultation at 985-322-3003.
BCG Services, local experts for concrete leveling and foundation repair, providing quality solutions for a variety of foundation issues. With years of experience applying Floor Shield products to both homes and businesses, you can trust our team to provide high-quality results. Call for a free consultation.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. Rouse's Markets, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. And St. Martin and Bourke Attorneys at Law. Know your rights. Now, back to more Sports on the Bayou.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Stan Gravois does a great job covering the high school players, coaches, teams in this area, and we'll throw it to his high school segment.
Hi everybody, welcome to Terrebonne General Community Sports Institute's weekly high school football report. Today we take a look back at week 6 and we look forward to week 7.
At Tom B. Smith, it was a back and forth affair between Terrebonne and Ellender in the big Intracoastal Classic matchup in a game that featured 5 lead changes and 11 plays of 30 yards or more. A big night of rushing for Terrebonne couldn't overcome a big night of passing for Ellender Memorial. Patriot quarterback Cade Atkins threw for over 300 yards, most of it coming to wide receiver number 85 Royal William. The Patriots take home the Intracoastal Classic trophy sponsored by Terrebonne General. Final score, Terrebonne 29, Ellender 39. In Morgan City, Vanderbilt Catholic's Jalen Coleman ran for 240 yards on 4 carries. And one of those carries was a 4-yard loss. Yes, sirree, I'm not smart enough to make that up. An easy win for the Terriers. In Napoleonville, it was Assumption all over South Lafourche. Sophomore quarterback Landon Sanchez on the 44-yard touchdown pass to Marcus Molaire here. And even when it went bad for the Mustangs, it turned out good. Sanchez dumps this one off to Reese Turner, and he runs it all the way inside the 5-yard line. No problem again for the Mustangs. They win at 64-28. Other winners on Friday night: Hornville, South Plaquemine, E.D. White, East St. John, Lutcher, Central Catholic, Destrehan, Berwick, and Vermilion Catholic. In District 7 5A, the 2 big dogs are rising and everybody else is struggling. In District 7 4A, Lutcher and Assumption, the only 2 teams that would be in the playoffs if it all ended today, but Ellender on the rise. In District 8 3A, everybody's good and everybody's on the rise. In District 9 2A, Houma Christian lost a heartbreaker to South Plaquemine on Friday night. The Warriors came up short on a 2-point conversion with seconds left on the clock. Houma Christian could very well win out, but it's probably too little too late as far as PowerPoint rankings go. And finally, in 7-1A, the bottom of the district is dragging down the top of the district. This upcoming week shows a tough one for Terrebonne High. 1-win HL will take on 1-win Thibodaux. South Terrebonne will be at Vanderbilt on Thursday night. It's East St. John hosting Central Lafourche. Assumption and Ellender also on Thursday night. E.D. White taking on Donaldsonville. Morgan City is going to be at South Lafourche. Hornville and Lutcher. And finally, CCA with Highland Baptist. As everybody knows, Terrebonne Parish is celebrating its 200th birthday this year. We invite all of you to come and join the festivities as competitive banner will be highlighted on the night of Thursday, October 27th with the premiere showing of Les Sports de Terrebonne. That's right, a full feature 70-minute historical documentary will be shown on the big screen at the main library conference room near the Civic Center at 6 p.m. that evening that highlights our greatest sports teams and individuals in Terrebonne Parish, along with a display of sports memorabilia from the past 200 years. This little teaser is just the tip of the iceberg. If you're a sports junkie, prepare to be fascinated. Again, the premiere of Les Sports de Terrebonne, 200 Years of Sports in Terrebonne Parish, happens on Thursday evening, October 27th at the main library on Civic Center Boulevard. Hope to see you there, and we'll have the popcorn ready.
Coming up on Sports on the Bayou, we'll put the naming sponsors against the host in picking the scores of the games this week. Who'll be the closest? We'll see if the sponsors can beat the experts as Sports on the Bayou continues.
Selecting an insurance provider for your business is a big decision.
With over 26 years of experience, our Alford team is your solution for quality and proven coverage.
The customer service you remember from years ago is what we pride our team on.
We know how important your company is to the community.
From small businesses to large businesses, Alford & Associates can manage your insurance. It's our job.
Alford & Associates, benefiting your employees and protecting your business.
Looking to achieve a healthier lifestyle but have little time? The Terrebonne General Executive Health Program can improve your overall health for a lifetime in one visit. With little to no waiting, you get a whole year of wellness in one convenient location. Our preventative screenings increase your well-being by providing early detection against illness. With exceptional VIP service, you leave with a plan in hand to achieve a healthier lifestyle tailored for you. Call the Terrebonne General Executive Health Team at 985-850-6204 today.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Rouse's Markets, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Alford & Associates, for all of your insurance needs. And St. Martin & Bourke, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Now, back with more Sports on the Bayou.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Martin, you got it.
All right, let's check out the standings if we can. Let's bring them up. Last week's winners. Let's see. Alford & Associates.
Whoa.
All right. Well, I was just asking them where they were, and look, they're right there in it.
They're
so
right
they
on. They're fist bumping. They're fist bumping.
Look at that. That's pretty good. Next, let's pull up the next one if we can. Mike Detillier. Mike, you were pretty close there. So we'll see how you're doing in overall standings. Next up, Stan. Boy, he's rolling off some wins. I think he's got 4, if I'm not mistaken. So there you have it. The winning pick standings. Come on, Bobby, you got to step it up.
No, I'm stepping it up. This is how I help people make money. Just if you listen,
pick against what he.
Yeah, whatever team I pick, just pick the opposite, and you'll win. You'll get paid. So I'm helping out.
That's what Stan's doing.
And Harry and Debbie, y'all got to pick it up too. That's ridiculous. It really is. I mean, come on. All right, so Stan's in the lead. So let's look at this week's picks if we can. Who's first up? Bobby, you got the Bengals in a close one over the Saints. He's got LSU, 1-point victory over Florida. And he's got Incarnate Word over Nicholls State. All right, let's go next. Rich, Saints over the Bengals, LSU over Florida, Incarnate Word over Nicholls. All right, next up. Mike, you got the Bengals over the Saints. You got Gators over LSU. And you got Incarnate Word over Nicholls. All right. Let's see, I got the Bengals over the Saints, Gators over the Tigers, And Nichols is going to pull one out against Incarnate Word. All right, they're going to turn it around. They're going to turn it around.
Did Lester pay you to say that?
No, I got faith in Coach Rebo.
Okay, I got you.
He's having an off year, but he's a great coach.
You're just trying to get closer to God.
Yeah, but
that's no, I picked against him.
That's all it is.
They're going to swing it around.
Yeah, but they have to Incarnate Word. That would be an upset. I'm telling you, that'd be a
It's going to be an upset. It's going to be. Mark my words.
You're going to need divine help for that.
Next week, y'all will be giving me kudos.
Oh, good job, Mark.
All right, next up, Harry. Ooh, got the Bengals scoring a lot of points. They could. LSU in a close one over Florida. Nichols losing. It's a shootout, though. It's close. Yeah. All right, next up, Stan. Bengals over the Saints. Gators over LSU. And Incarnate Word over Nichols. Moving right along. Debbie, she got the Saints over the Bengals. She's got LSU over Florida. She got Nichols over Incarnate Word. She's trying to match me here.
No, she's being a homer.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Dr. Pat's got the Bengals winning. He's got LSU winning. He's got Incarnate Word winning. All right, next up, Alford and Associates. They got the Bengals losing to the Saints. They got Florida 44-38 over LSU. Incarnate Word over Nichols. We'll see how that fans out. Let's see what Chuck Bork and them picked. Bengals over the Saints, Gators over the Tigers, Incarnate Word over Nicholls State. Wow, okay. Rouse says they got the Saints. They are the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints, by the way. They have the Saints winning. They got the Gators winning, and they have Incarnate Word winning. All right, before we leave, all law enforcement, all first responders, please stand up. Can we give them a big round of applause? We will see you next week on Sports on the Bayou.
Yeah.
Who dat?
That's it for Sports on the Bayou. Please visit us at HTV10 Facebook and HTV10 YouTube for a look at this week's show. We'll see you next week. Same place, same time.